Welcome back everybody to the channel. Today we're taking a look at a 2024 Land Rover Defender 130 Outbound. This is one of the most rugged SUVs or full-size three-row SUVs that you could get on the market. Although since I have the Outbound package, I don't actually have the third row. It's all trunk space. Let's check it out. Okay, so as usual, up first we have these really nice daytime running LEDs. You can see them right here, as well as fog lights just on the bottom. So I also really like this matte black finish that the paint has. Really looks rugged with those tires as well. We'll go a straight up front shot where you can see we have the Defender badge spelt out right there, as well as the Land Rover badge. We have a front facing camera right down here, as well as some nice like aluminum looking plastics and stuff like that on here. Or this is actually, yeah, this is more like a plastic feel right here. But it's very nice. We have parking sensors too, because we have 360-degree camera, all those parking sensors. To get to take a closer look at the hood, you can see we have like this almost like, it's again plastic, but it looks metallic, looks really, really solid. And overall, the front end just looks like it can absolutely bore through anything you need to bore through. It's a really, really good looking front end. Looks absolutely aggressive. It just looks angry. It really does, and I'm such a fan of it. So next, let's take a look under the hood. We have a 3-liter turbocharged straight 6 engine with a mild hybrid system. That's gonna give us 395 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. We're also getting an 8-speed automatic transmission, and of course this comes in all kinds of all-wheel drive. All the all-wheel drive you want, you get from this Land Rover Defender. So from the aggressive, mean-looking front end, we come to the side profile for the Land Rover Defender, where you can see I have the roof racks that are accessible via the ladder, which is really nice. So we have the, I think it's the Exploration package that's on here, but you can just see from the side profile how extended it is. We have so much room, and like I said, we're missing that actual third row. And we have these massive tires here too, look like they can dig through anything. I am kind of in the mud, so it's not like a paved driveway that I'm standing on right now. I'll give you a close-up of the ladder. So this guy actually does fold down really nicely and then snaps back up into place very nicely as well. So that's really cool. And then you can see just up here how we can access those roof racks, so you can tie stuff up there, whatever you need to do. We also have a adjustable air suspension. So right now it is in the normal ride height configuration, but we can put it into an off-road mode, which makes it go quite high off the ground. And it's a very nice feeling to be even higher than this thing actually does ride. So next we come around to the trunk space, where you can see it's picked up a whole bunch of dirt. No matter how many times you wash it on the Quebec roads, that's just what it is. We have these really nice taillights right here that are very nice and squared. We've seen it on the other Land Rover Defenders that have been out there. So we have 2 big tow hooks as well as a hitch. But the real piece here is actually in the trunk. So you can see how much space I have. And like I said, this is typically a third row cabin, right? So you can see here, I have another sunroof. I've got cup holders, I've got vents back here, but I've got no place to really sit back here because this isn't a seat. It looks like the seats are just folded down, but they are actually not. But what's cool is I have a full power source right here, a full power source right there, which is very nice. And then I have this button where I can raise or lower the air suspension from the back. So you're putting something in that's big, heavy, whatever you want to lower it, that's fine. You can do that as well. And you can also just sit in here in the back of this trunk and just have a grand old time. If you're camping by yourself or even with another person, you can probably stay in this car because we have that much room. There's a little bit of storage under the floor there. I could pull that tab up. There would be some storage there. You can put even more stuff even deeper in this thing, but it looks really cool when the back is open, and you can kind of use that as a tent almost, as your permanent shelter for a couple of days, which is awesome. Now, last but certainly not least, we have the Land Rover Defender box on the side here as well, where you can put some extra stuff. It doesn't unlock or lock with the vehicle. You actually need to use your key that comes with the key fob. You open this up. There's a little bit of storage in here. So to open it, you're gonna take your key right here. You're gonna put it inside the lock like that. It's hard to do one-handed. There we go. You put your key in, you're gonna turn it, and you're gonna open it, and then it's gonna lock in place, which is really nice. So you can see that it's locked in place. We get a little cargo net here and some warnings as well of what to do and what not to do. You can scan the QR code if you need that to help you out, figure out what you want to put in there. It does like kind of clip close afterwards, so you can kind of clap that down, and then you really got to give it a good shut for it to actually close, and the key, I believe, has to be out for that to happen. There you go. One good slam on it and it closes and it stays. And also the good thing is you can see it from your rear view or your side view mirror right there, so you do know whether or not your box is open or not and stuff's flying out. So you will know, you will be able to see it, which is very nice. So that is the exterior tour for the Land Rover Defender 130. Let's actually hop inside and see how much room we're working with. All right, so first up, we have the rear seats for the Land Rover Defender. You can see how much room we have here. You can see we kind of have like an off-white kind of trim here too. I like that it has like actual bolts in the door. Really, it really makes you feel safe. We have a Meridian sound system, so big speaker back here. These seats are reclinable and they can adjust to forwards or backwards, which is very nice. Little grab handle to get in, but the entry is really easy. You're not really stepping up that much to get in here. And then really nice door closing sound, boom. You kind of have like a double window too. This one doesn't open. This one does, controlled right here, which is super nice. We like this little cargo net here. Plenty of leg room behind my driver profile. Excellent view of that moonroof. I love that too. And if you want, you got the one in the back. You can just see how much room is back here too, which is crazy with the seats. The seats are pretty much as far back as they can go. And then we have our HVAC controls back here where you don't have heated seats or heated ventilation, so the push-pull thing doesn't work here, but you have your automatic dual zone climate control. You control the fan speed and where the air is coming from. We also have 2 USB charging ports, which is nice. Our vents are right here, super nice, tons of room in here. I love that. This guy can fold down here, become a cup holder, which is really nice. And then overall, it's been a really nice place to spend time sitting in the rear here. I've got plenty of leg room. I feel very comfortable. The air suspension ride quality would be very good to ride back here. I've really only ridden in the driver's seat. That's kind of what I do when I drive these things. There's plenty of room back here, and there's plenty more should you need to roll the seats down or put the seats completely down and actually stay in here because you're exploring the outdoors, or whatever you choose to do with the Wielder or with the Outbound package would be really cool. So yeah, let's check out the front seat and see what that's got. Next up, as usual, is the front seat. We can see here we have 3 memory seat settings right here, as well as that nice off-white color and the bolt in the door as well. The unlock button is here. You can see the Meridian sound system logo. Then if I move just over here as the car is beeping at me, I got some off-white color here. Really nice materials, but let's actually hop in so we can turn that annoying thing off. There we go. And now we're inside, so you can see I have a little storage cubby here should I need it. Little speaker there. Also, we got parking brake there, and there's like a little button just underneath where if I needed to actually get the illumination controls, I could. It pops out. Then we have our fully digital gauge cluster, which is very nice, a very nice touch. I can customize whether or not it's, the same thing as I showed you on the F-Type. It's got, the different layout settings, different trip settings, stuff like that. You can kind of see and display what you want. Right now I have media displayed. That's why you see a car right in the middle. And I like it. It's very clean, very easy to get used to. And I think Jaguar, Land Rover, Range Rover, they all have the same kind of infotainment, which is very nice. I've got some nice buttons not labeled here on the steering wheel. Of course, besides this one is the phone button. This is to skip the audio. This is for the volume. And this is a special button that you can set up to quickly access something in the infotainment. Then we have our cruise control settings right on the right-hand side, as well as our heated steering, which is on because it's cold out today. I have rain sensing wipers as well, and I can control the rear wiper from here too. Nice vents here too with a big speaker there. So I like the layout here, like the material here. It all feels like, it feels plastic, but premium plastic, if that makes sense, because it's surrounded by like this really nice touched areas. The steering wheel also feels very nice, very easy to clean too, and easy to notice when it is dirty, and I think that's something important to note. So next we move on to our infotainment display, which is definitely on the perfectly sized side. Like it's not huge, there's no secondary screen, it is what it is, but it's perfectly easy to see, easy to access, and there is a ton of stuff. You can see we have low traction launch, vehicle dimensions, air quality filter. We have, just seats. We can control the climate from here. We have weight sensing modes. You got different like off-road modes that you can have. Like you can see like my, how much off balance the car is. You can see like right now I'm on slight of an incline. I have a slope assist thing. Really cool. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto, either one, wired, wireless. It's got both, which is great. A bunch of parking cameras. Like I said, we have a 3D render of the thing where you can see it in real time. Very useful because this truck is, or car or vehicle, SUV, whatever you want to call it, it is absolutely massive. I also have the off-road kind of thing where you can lock your differentials and see what they're doing, and then we also have a tow mode so you can access that camera too. So we've got cameras absolutely everywhere, which is absolutely fantastic. Then a little bit lower, this is where my gear shifter is, my engine start stop button is. I've got the automatic start stop button on or off, the hill descent climb button. I have the front defrost, which I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's got like these little lines in the windshield, so that actually helps it defrost much faster. Haven't had to use it this week though. I have the direction for the climate control, and then I have some multi-purpose buttons. As you know, I can click here and adjust my heated seat settings. I can bring it down, bring it up, and I also have ventilated seats, so does my passenger. That's their control over there. Dual zone automatic climate control, of course, but also if I click this button right here, I can cycle through all of the drive modes that I have: mud ruts, sand, rock crawl, and then you also have a configurable drive mode as well. But usually I don't have anything special to drive in, so I don't need anything crazy. I just drive it in comfort, and that's it. And then you kind of press that button and things go back to normal. And then of course over here I can control the fan speed manually with this knob here. So I like that. They're not filling you with a bunch of buttons. They're giving you multi-purpose buttons, which is very nice. I have my ride height selector right here, so you can see when it's in the middle, it means that we are at the normal ride height. When it's high up, or even when the ride height is increasing, you see this little arrow here is going to go orange, just like this color right here. It's going to go orange to tell you that it's going up, and then once it's achieved that height, you'll get an orange label here. And then same thing with the access height, the same thing will happen there. Traction control off. And then we have the HVAC controls as well, some more physical buttons for those as well, and a nice volume knob. Then we move a little bit lower. You have USB-C, USB-A, a little bit of storage there for some stuff. It's actually quite a big cubby there. Then we have a wireless charger right here, 2 cup holders right here, a little bit of storage in there, and we also have another USB-C port right here for the passenger, really easy access. You got a grab handle so that when you're really in the mountains, they can grab onto something. I like how it says Defender. I don't know if the camera's picking it up properly because of the sun right there, but it says Defender right there. It looks absolutely fantastic. You can see just if I pull back how nice it is. I don't have the digital mirror in here, but it does come with one. We have the panoramic sunroof controls. You can open it. It does work, which is very nice. Then we can take a closer look at the seats. It's black, so there's nothing crazy. But again, if you're using it for outdoors exploration, I think black is the way to go. You could see your dirt. You definitely don't want a white interior. Red, I think they do offer it in red. I'm not sure, but you can configure. I think there's a couple of different seating arrangements you can get, but I like that I have the white on the easy to clean areas and the black on maybe the harder to clean areas. So that's a very cool touch from a Land Rover right there. So let's actually take it on a POV drive. Let's see how it does on the road. I can't off-road it or anything for you, although I'd love to. I'd love to drive it right up this hill right in front of me. I'm sure it would be able to take it, but let's actually take it on a POV drive, see how it does on the road. Let's go.
Okay, so here we are, windy day, rainy day, but we are with the Range Rover Defender on the road now. It's been such a nice week because I have like air suspension. I know that this can take any weather, that the weird kind of spring weather kind of decides, it's warm and it's cold, and sometimes it does randomly snow, and I know that this car can just take anything, and it's cool. It's like I have the same confidence as I would have as like a really big pickup, but in this case it's not a pickup, it's all enclosed, it's an SUV. I've got like pretty decent rear seats and everything, so by all accounts, like I'm just sitting very comfortably all the time in this car, and it's got some good power too. I've got a plethora of all-wheel drive modes. Like, it's absolutely crazy how much off-road and terrain modes this thing comes to. I don't really have much, and like I have a sport mode that I can kick the car in, which we'll do in a couple seconds, but it's really more geared to the outdoors, and it really shows that in the different drive modes and stuff. So I don't really have an opportunity to take it off-roading, but it's good to drive it in different conditions like rain, wet roads, different stuff like that. But honestly, I feel like I could go through a tornado with this thing and it just absolutely hold on solid. So I feel like you could adapt these cars to become like storm chasers, because they're just so solid on the road, right? And I feel so big and massive, and like I said, I can pop it into sport mode. I can feel the car drop a gear, and then I can kind of give it some beams, and it's not a bad sound. The engine's fairly tame, fairly quiet, and honestly that's not how I would drive it anyways. I'm pretty much on the eco mode side of things and the fuel saving side of things with this car. But look, I can drive on a straight road no problem. You're not taking this thing on a track. You're taking this thing, like, I'm ready to just turn this thing off and go into the woods, and you could live in this thing, because it does feel like I'm driving a football field. It has an absolutely massive presence on the road. While being a three-row SUV, it still has a presence of a pickup truck, which is really cool. And obviously people get out of my way in this thing because they absolutely see me coming, and the color is fantastic. The visibility is also amazing, and also that wasn't something I was expecting because I have never driven a Land Rover Defender before. So this huge windscreen was really, really cool to just be able to see out of it fully, and driving it all week, it's just like I have so much visibility, I have so much awareness left or right, big windows, a huge windscreen in front of me. like, it really can't get any better when it comes to visibility. And I just feel like I tower over everything. Like, you know, I'm passing semi-trucks and like looking into their windows almost. And the thing is, this is at normal ride height. It goes higher. So I think if I were to drive with the off-road mode on and pass a semi-truck, I would probably be as tall as they are and be able to, like, you know, get up alongside and be like, hey, how's it going, you know? So I think it's really cool. And road noise is okay. Like, as of now, there's quite a bit of wind actually pushing me around, and I can actually feel that. And you can also probably hear it a little bit, but road noise is really, really decent. It's just like, it's like driving on a cloud. Like, I can hit bumps and go over rough terrain and just like not even feel it. This air suspension, this adaptive suspension is so good. I've got rain sensing wipers here too that are on, so I don't really have to manage that either. It'll kind of manage itself with speed. I've got nice fog lights. I've just got the entire 9 yards in this car, or this SUV, whichever one you want to call it, but it's just such a nice thing to drive. Now we can talk a little bit about fuel economy. I wasn't expecting it to be great, and it's 15.4 liters per 100 kilometers, so that is the average. I've done about like 200-300 kilometers, so you know, I've given it enough, and a little bit of highway, a little bit of city, more city than highway, I'd say, but still a decent amount of highway this week, more than usual once again, which is very nice to know. So, and it's just, this thing is just smooth on the highway. I've got cruise control, I've got lane keep assist. It's just super good to use there. Really, really great. I mean, this is something you could go on a cross-country road trip. If you can find a good place to park it, then you'd be completely fine with just like living in it for a little bit. You know, if that's what you wanted to do, you're sleeping a couple nights, you pull over somewhere and sleep, because you can fold the seats down in the back and you have so much room. So it just feels like one of those cars where if you had enough supplies and stuff like that, you could definitely live in it. You could definitely make that work if you didn't, you know, if you didn't want to rent a hotel or anything, or you really wanted to stay outside. I mean, this car is just ready and built for it, right? It's just, it really is. Like, you know, I've heard other people say it's one of their favorite SUVs on the market, and it makes sense, because it's just got everything right, and the look is really solid. You know, I don't know if I take this in white. I've seen it in white before. I don't know if I like that too much. I kind of prefer the matte black that I've got here for myself, and the roof rails. Like, I feel like the ladder and the box just make everything so nice to use. But yeah, and also like handling wise, it's really solid too. I mean, you're not, you know, the steering wheel's not giving me a whole bunch of feedback, and I have a little bit of body roll when you're going fast, but still, you're not taking this thing on the track. It's just meant to handle like the beefy stuff, you know, like a really bad winter. I think this thing would be super cool to have in there, like if you're getting like 30 centimeters of snow every day. I also really like the way that the steering wheel feels in my hands, and you can see I'm going over some like rougher terrain here, and although you might hear it on the audio, you definitely don't feel it in person, so that's really nice. You can hear the bumps usually throughout the suspension and stuff, but you can't feel them right up on my seat. Now, actually, my seat position is so high, like I have it really low to the ground because I'm not short, so I can see perfectly over everything at the lowest setting. But like, say you're not a very tall person, you still want to get in this vehicle, you can get this seat to go pretty high. You can pretty much get pretty close to the roof line here, which is pretty good if you're kind of a smaller person, and it's easy to get into because, like I said, the air suspension drops whenever you know you need to get in, so it's very easy to get in. It's not super high off the ground, and then say you're doing some off-roading or you're in some rougher weather and you kind of want to raise your ride height, you can do that while in the car with no problem, and then once you want to get out again, you can actually use the air suspension to bring yourself back down to the ground, which is super excellent to have as well. So yeah, I just really enjoy it. I think it's a great errand runner. I think it's a great grocery getter if that's all you need it for, but I feel like this is really suited to people who have deep pockets and you know, want to explore the outdoors and have a lot of maybe cargo hauling needs, but again, you got deep pockets, and yeah, because yeah, I mean, when we look at the full price of this thing plus a luxury tax here in Canada, you're looking at a significant, massive down payment on a pretty nice house here in Canada. So that's pretty expensive to spend on a vehicle, which will depreciate over time no matter what you do. But I really hope that Land Rover keep making these Defenders. I'd like to check out the smaller ones, like just the 2-row ones, you know, front seat, back seat kind of thing, just to see how those compare. But I think this maybe will be my favorite version because it's got everything you could possibly want. So much storage space, stuff like that, and it's just a vehicle like this gives you so much options, which I like a lot. I just like having the fact that if I need to, you know, haul people around, I have that option. I do have quite a bit of space in the rear. If I need to haul people and things, well, I got that option too. And if I wanted to, you know, stay in this thing overnight, I could do that as well, you know. So that is all really cool stuff for the Land Rover Defender. It's got so much going for it.
really glad I got to check this out. I like the Defender logo on the wheel too. It looks really clean. And then, you know, hopefully in a couple weeks here, I'll get to check out a Range Rover to kind of see, you know, the other side of the company. You saw I was on Jaguar, Land Rover, and Range Rover, all three brands under that umbrella. So can't wait to bring you that. So yeah, overall though, with the Land Rover Defender, great car, great SUV, great hauler, great whatever you need it to be. It's great in any condition, great for everything, unless you were like want to be an absolute speed demon and get thrown back into your seat. Okay, maybe you don't have that, but honestly, with a car like this, you simply don't need it. It's simply wonderful. I like it a lot. One of my favorite SUVs on the market right now, and there's not a lot to compete with it. There's the Ford Bronco, which doesn't have as much features in it, is way cheaper. This is much bigger, and I think much more rugged than the Ford Bronco maybe. And then the other thing that I could think of in the high end is like the Mercedes G-Wagon, which again is maybe a little bit more high end than the Land Rover, especially when you get up there in those trims too. So I think this is really good for the market it's trying to hit, and there's not a lot that looks like it or that performs like it. So I am a huge fan. So if you like the video, make sure that you watch another one. That's the best way to support me. That's the biggest way to help me out if you're interested in doing that. Also, if you like and subscribe, that will help me immensely as well. So that's going to do it for the Land Rover Defender 130. Let me know what you think of the vehicle in the comments. With that being said, I'll see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.